Hello, and welcome to another day of English 2. I'm your online teacher, Miss Abear. As a reminder, we are working on an argument unit about free speech and social media. Today, we're going to look at some related media exploration, and we're going to explore the statement, what is freedom of speech? And so, as a reminder, your teacher can go to the Common Lit website on Unit 6 to find the resources for this unit. We're going to learn, how do you convince people that you are right? That is our essential question. So when you think about arguing, you always want to convince someone else that you are right and the ideas that you have are the correct ideas. So at the end of this unit, you are going to be writing an essay where you're going to answer the question, should schools be allowed to punish students for what they write on social media? Now, this is beyond just an opinion essay. This is an argument essay. And as a reminder, I talked about claim, evidence, and reasoning. You're going to have all three of those in order to prove your claim, to prove that what you believe is what others should believe as well. You want to convince them that you and your opinion are right, and you're going to convince them with that evidence and that reasoning. So today we are looking at some media exploration and what is freedom of speech. So your teacher should have printed out, or maybe they are going to allow you to do this online. You should have this related media exploration handout. You'll need a pencil, and at the end of the unit, at the end of today's lesson, and with every text that we will explore, you will need this research note-taking graphic organizer. Now here's the deal, guys. I know that students misplace these things all the time. If this is something that you think that you will misplace, then leave this with your teacher, or leave this in a place in your teacher's classroom that you can find it every day that you go back to that classroom. Because with every text that we read or that we watch, you are going to be adding information to this worksheet, and you want to be able to write the best essay that you can at the end, and you will need all of that evidence that you're writing down on that graphic organizer. So let's move forward with this lesson today. So what can you expect? Today, you're going to view videos as a whole class. You're going to discuss the questions with a partner. You're going to read and discuss some scenarios with a partner, and then you are going to write your answers on your individual handouts. So the teacher in your classroom should be circulating as you discuss the questions that are on your handout. That way you stay on task and you can get this lesson done in a day. So we're going to learn about the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. What does that amendment say, and what does it do for you as a student, and even what does it say and do for everyone in the United States of America? You will do, right now I want you to do a little bit of independent work. I want you to read the scenario below and answer question 1 on your handout. Be ready to share that answer with the class. So let's read this idea or this scenario. Isabel, who is an employee of Gary's Discount Plumbing, puts a post on social media stating that she thinks the current president is the worst we have ever had. Gary, her boss, knows that many of his customers are fans of the current president. He feels that Isabel's statement is bad for his business, so he fires her. So I want you to answer the question that's on your handout. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to write that down real quick. All right, now I need a couple of students, 2 or 3, to share out. Does freedom of speech protect Isabel from being fired in this situation? Raise your hand to share those answers. You guys had some great thoughts on that question. I don't know what I think. I'm going to leave that to reading more about what does the First Amendment say her freedoms are. So I'm not going to share my thoughts about this just yet. All right, so what are we going to learn next? So the rest of this related media exploration, you're going to study the history of the First Amendment and the true meaning of the right to freedom of speech. What does that First Amendment protect you on. We're going to get a little bit deeper in this. So in part 2, history of the First Amendment, I want you with a partner to answer questions 1 and 2. You're going to watch this video with your teacher. The teacher's going to play this video, and then with your partner, you're going to answer questions 1 and 2. Good. You guys did a great job watching that video and answering those questions with your partner. Part 3 is another video that your teacher is going to play in your classroom. It's called Freedom of Speech. As a whole class, you will watch this video together, and then with a partner, I want you to answer the next 3 questions. Questions 3, 4, and 5. Man, I am impressed with the learning happening in this classroom, those discussions between you and your partner. I want to make sure that you guys are writing down your own answer, that you write your answer and then you have that discussion with your partner, and that you then revise your original statement so that you ensure that you have all of the information about these questions, because these questions and the information that you're writing down are going to prepare you to write this essay. So what about part 4? Let's look at analyzing the text. So on your handout, I want you to read the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. That is the actual wording of the First Amendment. I want you to read that, and then I want you to answer questions 6 through 8. And then after you answer questions 6 through 8, then discuss those with your partner. Good job. All right, now let's move on to part 5. These are some additional scenarios. You can do these with your partner. I think that you should, it says give you 15 minutes. Guys, I don't know that we have 15 minutes of class left, but take about 5 or 6 minutes, think about those scenarios, and then answer questions 10 through 13 on your worksheet. Great job. You guys are rocking and rolling through these scenarios. I'm so proud of you. What about part 6 is some independent reflection. Guys, it is now time for you to work independently. You have had an opportunity to work with a partner on these this handout. You've answered a lot of questions. You have really dug your heels in to the idea of free speech and what is protected under free speech. Now I want you to do a little bit of independent work. Give yourself about 5 or 10 minutes. If you finish before then, go ahead and move on to the next section. But be ready to come out and share your ideas with the rest of the class when you finish. All right, now, after you've shared those out with your classmates, what do you believe freedom of speech means in the United States? Share those out. That was a great discussion. I really appreciate you guys are very animated in your discussions. I really do appreciate that more than you know. All right. If you have time remaining, there are some additional questions, discussion questions, to prompt you, to get you thinking about this topic. So if you have time, continue those topics. They're here on the board. They're also on your handout, I believe. If they're not, have your teacher pause this or have your teacher go back to this. This is going to be the end of today because you guys have done a lot of thinking today. You guys have really dug in, and I really appreciate that. And tomorrow we're going to dig in just a little bit more, and we're going to continue this idea of what does it mean when we have freedom of speech. So make sure you do that graphic organizer part on your own, and then if you have time, if you don't, your teacher can move activity 2 to another day. But that is all that I have for you today. We packed a whole lot into today's lesson, and maybe your teacher needs to make it into 2. That is up to her. But guys, you guys have done an amazing job, and I appreciate it. Until tomorrow, happy reading.